Good morning, everybody. In this week's Torah portion, we continue to talk about the construction of the Mishkan. Yes, this is the third Torah portion that's dealing with the construction. And in the beginning of the parsha, it says, Vayakel Moshe, Moshe gathered together everybody, which means he gathered together the entire nation and all of the Jewish people. And he's about to talk about how to assemble the Mishkan. So he's got all of his contractors there and his subcontractors there. And presumably we expect him to start discussing the details of how to assemble the pieces, now that all these pieces have been constructed, into this traveling temple. And then he goes into a completely different topic. He starts talking about Shabbos. This is the concept of Shabbos, 6 days that God created the world. On the seventh day he rested. So too we're going to rest on Shabbos. It's a very strange thing. It's almost like the general contractor gathers together all of his subcontractors for a big meeting to discuss the building of this new center. And when everyone's there and everyone's gathered together, he starts talking about some new series that he's watching on Netflix. I don't know, something completely off the topic. So why, when Moshe has the entire nation assembled together to discuss how to build this temple, this moving temple, and how to construct it and how to take it apart and how to put it back together, all of a sudden he starts talking about Shabbos. There are a lot of different ways to answer this question, but let's think about for a moment, what was the purpose of this Mishkan, of this space, of this structure that was built and taken apart and rebuilt and moved with the Jewish people everywhere they went? The answer is clearly it was to receive the divine presence. It was to bring godliness into their lives. It was to create a physical space where God's presence could be touched, could be experienced, could be felt. To bring godliness into them individually, to bring godliness into their families, to bring godliness into their communities. What helps us, what gets us to a place of a much, much deeper connection to ourselves, to our families, to our community, to the Jewish people? It's Shabbos. Shabbos is what continues throughout time, throughout history, to give us that sense of unity and connection. There's a medrash, a cute story that talks about how each day of the week has its partner. Sunday has Monday, Tuesday has Wednesday, Thursday has Friday, but then Shabbos came along and complained, I don't have a partner. Who's my partner? And God said, don't worry. Your partner is the Jewish people, the Jewish nation. Shabbos and the Jewish people together create an atmosphere of holiness, an atmosphere that transcends anything that's possible during the week. We think about the insight that we can have in our own lives, into our own lives, into our deeper spiritual connection. We think about the depth of the potential depth of connection and relationships that we can create with the people that we're spending the Shabbat with. Because you know what? I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. I'm not on my phone. You're not on your phone. You're not rushing. We're together. We're eating together. We're praying together. We're learning together. Deep, deep connections. And of course, the connection that we can create with Hashem on Shabbat when everything is quiet and everything slows down. That is what this is all about. So before Moshe starts talking about how to construct and put together the technical details of how to construct this temple, this portable, movable temple that they were going to be with, that was going to bring the divine presence into the world, first he said, but of course, this is about the divine presence. And you can have the most magnificent building in the world, but without Shabbat and without what Shabbat brings to the table, that divine presence is not going to happen. So think about that, discuss it with your families, with whoever you're sharing Shabbat with. I'm wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom from Jerusalem.